Okay, hello, welcome to our next video in solving equations. Today, the next step we are going to do is combine like terms to solve equations. Okay, and so I have several examples for us to do today. We're going to focus on examples that only contain integer coefficients. So, as in the next video, um, we will focus on the decimals and the fraction coefficients for combining like terms to solve equations. But today, let's start with integer coefficients. So if you're in my class, I'm on the second page of our note packet, and we're going to start with example 1. Solve 5m minus 23 plus 2m equal 5. Okay, just a reminder, you're looking to make sure that you have the same variable, so we have m, there's not any other letter in there, and an equal sign, and then we know that we can solve this equation for the variable. Okay, so before this, we only had one spot that the variable was located. Now we've got two. So the first step in this is to put those together. So 5m and 2m are on the same side of the equal sign. So what we can do is block them off. So 5m is positive and 2m is positive. So we can actually put those together. 5m plus 2m gives us 7m. And then the minus 23 does not have an m on it, so what we want to do is keep that separate. So minus 23, we're going to put on our equation as minus 23, and then equals 5. That's the other side of our equation. Now it's a two-step equation like we did before. Okay, so if you take a look at this, right, m is our variable, 5 is already on the other side, it's already safe, so we got to get 7 and our 23 out. So the first one to get out here, the one that's furthest from our variable but not on the other side, is our 23. So the opposite of minus 23 would be to add 23. So we'll do that. Cancel it there, but you want to make sure you add that on the other side. And I didn't leave enough space, it looks like, so I'm going to have to rewrite it over here. So now that gives you 7m equals, excuse me, 28. And so we're still going to get that 7 out by doing the opposite. We want to do the inverse operation here. So this means 7 times m. And to undo a times, we would divide. So we're going to divide by 7 here, divide by 7 here, and we find out that m equals positive 4. Easy peasy. All right, let's look at example 2 and why that might look different. So example 2, on ours, we have negative 49 equals 6x minus 13 minus 4x. Okay, the only difference here is that this time all of our variables are on the right side of the equation, but we really do solve this the same way. So negative 49 is already by itself on the left side of the equation, so we'll leave it there. We do have some like terms that we can combine. In this case, we can combine 6x, which is positive, and now the minus 4x, the minus sign goes with that 4. So we're going to put those together as 6x minus 4x first. All right, so we'll rewrite this as negative 49, that stays. 6x minus 4x would give us 2x, and then minus 13. All right, now again, we have a two-step equation like we did in the last video. The difference is that negative 49 is the one that's by itself, it's safe, and now we have to undo the 2 and the 13, okay? So we want to start with the one that's furthest from x, so that would be minus 13. So to undo a minus 13, we would add 13, and we're going to add 13 on this side. That's to cancel. All right, negative 49 plus 13 is going to give us negative 36 on that side, and we still have a 2x to deal with on our right side. Okay, so we want to undo 2 times x, so the opposite of 2 times x would be dividing by 2. And that's what we've got here. So negative 36 divided by 2 gives us negative 18 equals x. It is the same process, only it's on the other side. If this confuses you, my advice to you is to write it so that it's the opposite direction. You could write this back out so that it had said 6x minus 13 minus 4x, and then you can put your equal sign on that side and put your negative 49. If that helps you to solve it by having all your variables on the left, you can definitely do that. Okay, now here's where we've got something even more new. So in previous math classes, hopefully you've learned that a parenthesis in there means you have to distribute. And what I mean by distribute is you have to multiply whatever number is on the outside of the parentheses by each individual term on the inside of the parentheses first. Okay, I'm going to slide that up so you can see a little bit better, hopefully. All right, so our example here, we've got 6 on the outside of the parentheses and a 3p plus 5 on the inside. So the first thing we have to do is distribute. So we're going to do 6 times 3p to give us 18p. And then we're going to do 6 times, now this is positive 5 because there's a plus there, to give us positive 30. And then we'll put down our equal 66. So we distribute first by using multiplication, and now we've got a two-step equation again. So remember, p is our variable, so we're trying to get everything on the other side of the equation from p, everything on the other side of the equal sign. So 18 is closest, so that's not going first. We're going to get our 30 out first since it's furthest away. So opposite of plus 30 is minus 30. Okay, so now I've got 18p left over here, and 66 minus 30 is going to give me 36. And now we're going to deal with the 18. 18 times p is what's shown, so the opposite of that would be to divide by 18. That cancels, and I divide by 18 over here, and I get p equal 2. And that's our answer. Okay, let's do one last one with a negative number and see how that results. Okay, so the last one for today is what happens now when we have a negative number on the outside of the parentheses and also a minus on the inside. It's the same idea, okay? So you're going to assume that the negative 8, or that's a negative sign, and you're going to multiply by each term. So we're going to start with negative 8 times positive 2x, which would give us negative 16x. Now, this is important. A negative 8, and we're now going to multiply that by a negative 1 because that minus is going to act as a negative here. So negative 8 times negative 1 is going to give us positive 8. A negative times a negative is positive. And then we're going to say equal 36. And once we've done that, we have our standard two-step equation again. We're 36, we're going to leave that guy alone. X is our variable, right? And so on this side, the part that's furthest away from x is that 8. That's where we're going to start. We're going to undo a plus 8 by subtracting 8. All right, so we got negative 16x equal 36 minus 8 is going to give us 28. And then we're gonna have to divide here, right? So if we divide by negative 16 to undo our times, we are gonna end up with a decimal, or if you want, an improper fraction. So in this case, if you are asked for the decimal answer, right? So let's do this. What you would do is you would put in your calculator, 28 divided by negative 16 equals, so you would get negative 1.75. If you're asked for the fraction answer, what you would want to do is reduce. So in order to reduce this, you know that 28 can be divided by 2 as well as 16, but they can also both be divided by 4. So you want to choose the one that's higher. So if I divide 28 by 4, and let's do this in a separate. If we divide each of them by 4 to reduce them, right, then we're going to get 28 divided by 4 is going to give us 7 for our top number, and negative 16 divided by 4 is going to give us negative 4 for our bottom. Since we chose the 4, we don't have to reduce any further. Depending on what answer they're looking for, decimal or fraction, those are both correct. Okay, hopefully you find this helpful for solving, combining like terms to solving equations with integers. Ooh, sorry, you couldn't see that. Here's the answers there. Okay, tomorrow, or our next video, will result in doing this with fractions and decimals.